Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the least comfortable show on the web. It is The System is Down, the place where we talk about all the least comfortable things that get your panties in a twist. And we've got a guy who's known for doing some of those things some of the time here today to talk to you about, I don't know, about getting your shit together, probably. We're going to get into that here in just a moment, but before we do, let me roll this intro and let's get weird.
The following is a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
Remember a simpler time when it was okay to be weird, have fun, and think for yourself?
Well, those days are over. The art of conversation itself is dead. Sacrificed on the altar of divide and conquer and disguised as political correctness and spared feelings. I believe that unity can only come from truth, and that the only way to find truth is by exploring and embracing our valuable differences and having civil, open-minded, and uncomfortable discourse. Conspiracies, politics, religion, and all the taboo topics are mainly just praise you don't bring up around the Thanksgiving dinner table. We are here to literally change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. So if you're easily offended, put your big girl panties on and buckle up, Buttercup, because you chose to be here. I'm Dan Smots, you are the power, and this is The System is Down.
That's right, it is The System is Down, and yeah, it's early for me. Gary is a morning person. I'm not. I've been trying. I've been learning. I've been learning from Gary by working on some of his stuff on how to be a better person, but hopefully we can help you guys out with that as well. But before we get into that, I got to remind you of our sponsors. First and foremost being the first and foremost being you guys in the Downers Club. People like Ellen Gomez, Jack Casey, Rick Duran, Javari, Andrew Sitchling, Mark Clare, Kyle Evans, Paul Brandenberger, Craig DeCosta, Joe Kabinski, Anthony Meyer, jumping down the list. We Are Libertarians, Stephen Hartman, John Odermatt, Tim Brown, Aaron Stute, Howie Snowden, Nathan Sipes, David White, John Schweppe, and some other people that weren't important enough to mention here, but go join patreon.com/The System is Down for more weird, more raw, more offensive, more weekly content. You'll get bonus episodes of the show every single week, including maybe if he's generous enough, Gary giving us some extra time. Also, today's episode is sponsored by Kratom. freeounceofkratom.com is the place. Go check it out, and you can try a free ounce of Kratom. Gary, have you ever tried Kratom?
I have.
What are your
some
thoughts?
in my cabinet.
Oh, do you? So you're a user?
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I prefer caffeine.
Gotcha. I like the Kratom. I find that, and frankly, I use both, but I like the Kratom. It gives me a nice pep in my step and a zing in my face. But you can try it at freeounceofkratom.com, and you can also try Delta 8 THC weed. freeounceofkratom.com. Check them out. Today's show is also sponsored by The Royal Green, which is a book written by Jack Casey, and I have not read it, but I hear it's fantastic. My wife is reading it currently, and it's a sci-fi futuristic Civil War type of novel. Sounds interesting. If you think it sounds interesting, or if you want a better description, go on over to theroyalgreen.com and check it out and support him, because he's got the balls to support this show. All right, now we are joined today by the one, the only, the illustrious Gary Collins. Gary, how's it going, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on, Dan.
Yes, sometimes you have to hold for applause because we've got this live in-studio audience here. But Gary, Remzo turned me on to your stuff and paired us up, and we've been doing a little bit of work together. But I want to get... First off, the main thing, I've been meaning to have you on for a while, but the thing that really sparked my interest in having you on was this Twitter stuff lately where people are demanding that they never have to work again. That's the main thing I want to focus on today. But before we do, tell everybody a little bit about you. Give a little bit of your history and where you come from.
Oh, God, the usual. I'll keep it brief. It's been a long life as I get older. But basically, grew up a small, poor kid in a trailer, poor family, put myself through college, played sports, busted my ass, was in the military, federal law enforcement for half my life, left completely disenchanted with the system and started a company based on primal health, which eventually evolved into the simple life, which is about living. I teach life simplicity. I've kind of created my own category, is the best way to put it, a genre in a way. And I write books about living the Simple Life series. I have the Simple Life podcast. The Three-Legged Stool is, optimal health, financial freedom by being debt free and finding your life purpose. Sounds simple. It's very hard. Hardly anyone can do it. So that's what I do. I just decided enough was enough and decided to do my own thing in life in general. Yeah. And I live off grid. This is my off grid house.
Yes. Fantastic. And what was the reason for the thing that sparked you to move out of like government employment into just doing whatever the hell you want?
I think we're seeing it today. I've told people like Dr. Fauci, I go, there's thousands of Dr. Fauci's in the federal government. There are. I mean, he's not an anomaly by any stretch. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of buffoons, people who literally I call talentless idiots who have found their way through the government and gone, we had a saying, shit floats to the top through attrition. Most of the smart, good people leave. Like I said, become disenchanted and go off and say, I'm going to go do something else. This is ridiculous. Not to say, hey, I love my country. I absolutely love my country. I'm a patriot. I think we're the last freedom or bastion of freedom in the world, and we're losing it. We're screwing it up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was basically having there was many things that pushed it, but I tell people I was chasing the carrot. At the end, I said, I'm going to get my carrot. God damn it. I've put in all this time and effort. I'm getting it, even though the job was slowly killing me. And it had had to have a couple bad events happen and deal with some idiot bosses. And I basically one day said, enough's enough. And I left. Mm-hmm. There's more to it, but yeah, I won't bore people with all of that. And I don't want to get into some of it because, I just rebooted my life. It wasn't fun. I had multiple surgeries after I left, had to just build my life back from scratch. Sold my house, moved into a small little cottage, sold most of my belongings and just said, whatever I've been taught is the American dream is bullshit and it's not working.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah. Now the American dream has changed, I guess, definitions, especially rapidly over the last few years. It used to be like, oh, you buy a house, you work the 9 to 5, you support your family. Now the American dream is, I'm going to be a successful YouTuber and live, or do nothing and live off of the government dole. What are some of the main issues that you think have led to this current situation that we're in?
I often say it's the way of Rome, right? It's a little too much, too good. Kind of makes us lazy. Yeah. And unfortunately, we have a lot of people in this country who have sacrificed nothing. They don't understand how the world works. They see it through YouTube. They see it through social media. And that's not the world. Reality TV. I know people who are in those shows. It's all staged people. It's all bullshit. Just to give you a heads up.
We actually, our family enjoys watching one of the home makeover things. I don't even know the name of it. Chip and Joanna. I don't know which one that is, but my wife and kids watch that. And my wife was looking it up on Wikipedia and she was like, oh, it looks like they pre-planned this and that. And like, she was ruining it for the kids. And it's like, that's the world, kids. It's all staged. It's all fake.
It's all staged. It's like the YouTubers, right? I've met some of these YouTube influencers.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. And they're telling everyone they're making, $1.5 million a year. They're not even close. Some of them do make a living off it. They've done thousands of videos. They've dumped in a ton of time and it's all staged.
They've sold their soul too.
A lot of, well, and it's interesting we relate those two, right? Because YouTubers are basically creating their own reality show.
Yeah.
Then you have reality TV, which is where they find idiots and people who I kid you not, I've met these people. They're people who will do anything for a buck.
Yeah.
Or not very bright. They kind of mix in between to where they know they can tell you to do something stupid and you're actually going to do it.
Right.
I've been approached 5 times now for a reality TV show over the last decade. Each time, once they figure out, I tell them I'm not full of shit, and we're going to do it to help people, and we're going to show the lifestyle or what I teach, and that's how we're going to do it. They're all, oh God, no.
That's not on brand. That's not how this works.
You know, no. And what they realize is they can't manipulate me, and I don't need the money. I tell them, I don't need your money. I don't want to be a celebrity. I could give 2 shits. If I go on TV, I'm doing it on my terms to promote my brand and what I do. That's it. If you aren't game for that, go find some other useful idiot to go shit in a bucket or something in the woods, or, damn near cut their artery in half and bleed out in the forest. Go ahead. I'm not doing that. That's not me. So yeah, it's an interesting world, but people think that's reality, and it's not. They think everything's easy. Just show up. $15 an hour. Hey, I deserve $15 an hour. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't deserve $15 an hour. You have to earn $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen. I went into that in the latest episode, and I do this crazy thing called math. I use basic math to prove a lot of my points.
It's a lost art.
Imagine that. The lost art. Addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Whoa, how really crazy concepts. And talking about, because I've gotten people over the years here and there go, you just don't understand a living wage. And I go, dude, I grew up in a fucking trailer making $3.35 an hour as a 13-year-old. Shut up. It's always these people that want to run their mouth, and they have no idea. They haven't looked into your background. They haven't done anything. They're just going to tell you that they're a victim, that they deserve it.
They're going to go to the successful people. They're going to go to the successful people that came from nothing and did it right, and tell them that they don't understand. It's like, not only do I understand what it's like to live there, I understand what it's like to get out of there, and you just don't want to do that work.
Well, exactly. But they'll go dump $5,000 on a Tony Robbins, conference and go home and do vision boards all day.
Right.
Idiots. And, oh God, if another one of Tony Robbins' followers emails me to get on the show, I'm going to lose my shit. But
I think you should do it. I think you should go on.
That,
I think you should go on and give them some of your mind.
Oh no, they try and get on my show. They're always trying to get on my show. And I'm all no, dude. We don't do Tony Robbins disciples on The Simple Life.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I teach people not to follow those people. But I do it now. I said $15 an hour is $31,200 a year. And people go, well, I can't pay rent and do this and do that. I go, guys, I made $5 an hour in college, and I put myself through college.
Yeah.
Shut up. They want a new car. They want the latest cell phone. They want high-speed internet. They want 600 channels. And it's like, no, that's not what minimum wage is made for.
Right.
And then I also even said that I have notifications going on here. New computer, and I forgot to turn those off.
It's all good.
If you're a family of 4, and expand the math. If you're have 0 skills, right? Minimum wage is basically 0 skills.
Right.
It is showing up with 2 legs, 2 arms, and breathing. You can fog a mirror.
Right.
That is about it. That's minimum wage.
Yeah.
And, it ends up being, you do the math. It's $124,800 a year. And if you're a family of 4, basically scraping, grease off the grill, cooking fries, or mopping floors, you can make 6 figures as a family. I'm having a hard time with this working wage thing.
Right.
And it's because people go, well, I don't want to, why would we all live together and work? That's what I mean. Our concept of work ethic and critical thinking is dying quickly. And anyone with a brain in their head would put that together and go, okay, all I got to do is work. I'm telling you, people, the reason things are going up is because of that attitude right now.
Right.
Our inflation is directly caused right now by that attitude. So you're going to price yourself right out of the market. You're going to get, robots are coming. AI is coming. you're going to be we're not going to need you.
Right.
That's
your
the problem.
$15 an hour
You better
minimum
figure
wage.
it out.
Your $15 minimum wage is literally just funding the robot takeover. Like, you're just guaranteeing that you're pricing yourself out of the market because you're
Well, not only
robots
that,
don't
but
have to have education.
people
They
won't
just
show up.
plug it in.
Well, that's the thing too, is where I'm at right now is a booming area. I'm in two booming areas right now. Where my other house where I'm building the studio, it's booming too. But up here, it's nuts. It's never boomed like this up where I'm at in Northeast Washington, Idaho. It's never done this, what it's doing right now.
Yeah.
People can't get people to show up for $15 an hour. So now you want $20 an hour. So now that family is 160 grand a year. I mean, you have to look at this and go, this is not realistic. But what happens is these same people will come back to you, and usually they weigh about 250 pounds. They're typical to 80% of America who's obese, overweight, a sloth, and they're going to tell you that they deserve that.
Yeah.
And I go, no. This is why I have contractors, why I don't have employees. I've tried having employees. They're worthless, most of them. Trying to get them to do a job and show up is damn near impossible. And now they want free healthcare. And I'm eyeballing them. I'm looking at a 250-pound 20-year-old, and I'm going, and you want free healthcare too.
Right.
Why don't you just move in my house? I'll go sleep with the dogs, and I'll just pay for everything. How about that? Just move in, do whatever you want.
Yep.
And I think that's where we're at. Those people feel entitled, and they don't understand the sacrifices that have gotten us here. They don't know their history. They don't understand that there's a lot of people and families who have lost their lives and shed blood, lost limbs, so they can live this life and run their mouth. And they just go, I don't care. Just give me mine.
Right.
Give me it. I deserve it. It's ruining this country. It's absolutely ruining it.
Now, it's been a quick decline. Like, when I was a kid, it was like the minimum wage would go up every couple of years or so, but it would be like up by like 50 cents or something. Now we're going from like, I think it's like 10 to 15 or 8 to 15. Like, when I was working a machine shop job, it was like 12-hour days, 5 days a week, and I got paid like $10 an hour, and I got married and paid for everything. Just so now you say that the answer is working, and some people will hear that as, hey, go and do the dream, or the old man's dream of the 9 to 5 grind at the machine shop or something like that. Is that what you mean, or do you mean whatever you can do to make money?
No, hey, trust me. I'm not a big fan of the work schedule we're in either. The 9 to 5, the grind. The human body and brain is not geared for that. Mm-hmm. Not that way. Not meaningless tasks. Not being able to think for yourself. I agree with that. I agree with that concept. But here's the thing: in order to get out of that and live your own life, you got to do that.
Right.
Hate to break it to you, unless you come out of the womb creating new circuits and new technology, you're going to have to enter that shitty workforce and do the work. That's part of the deal. And what it should teach you is what it taught me is I don't want to go back to that.
Yep.
I tell people today I am unemployable. I cannot go back to the 9 to 5 grind. And then, well, you're a hypocrite telling us to go do it. I go, no, you have to earn your way out of it.
Right.
I always use the hunter-gatherer situation because people go, well, you always talk about how humans are geared towards recreation and thinking and, live. I go, no. Any organism on this planet, it's a violent existence. Right. Humans have been lucky enough with this bowling ball on top of our shoulders that we've been able to think our way out of that to a point. If you're a hunter-gatherer, your life would not be nirvana. You would not be waking up, sleeping in 5 feet of feathers, being fed, someone feeding you all the wild game and everything you want. If you woke up in the morning, guess what? There was no refrigeration. There was no way to store food. If you were hungry, you had to go get it. Right. You might break your ankle on the way going there. Guess what? You can die. Mm-hmm. So, it's like we think that we're so smart that we can just skip out of this suffering part. And
Right.
I'm not talking about, you live your life just to suffer, but but life is about progressing, being better, learning, being a better person. And people just don't care. It has become completely about the individual in a narcissistic way. There's a difference. I believe in the individual because you can't help other people unless you have your shit together.
Right.
And you need to have your life geared. You need to be doing the things you need to do, and then you help someone else. That's how humans got here. We learned from our elders. We learned from being in a community and sharing the load. People today they think of themselves. It's like, oh no, I need this. And
Right.
it's like, well, no, you need to earn it. And that's the problem is people don't want to earn things. They want it to be given to them for just breathing. You're no one special. I know you've been told that. I know, all of our school systems tell everyone is special. No, you're not. All you are is a big thing of cells, useless cells. You're the one who has to make yourself special.
Sure.
And even then, to be honest with you, there's 8 billion of us almost. You're not that special.
Yeah.
You're just not.
Even if you are special, even if you believe that you were created for an ultimate purpose, like I lean towards, I think that everybody is, but are you grasping that potential that you were designed for? Like you have, I believe that everybody is like instilled with some sort of intrinsic value, but 99% of us just wander around doing the checking the boxes that we're told and going about our daily lives. So yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, absolutely. And the human potential, we don't even know what the limits are. We don't know. But we do know that we're not fulfilling it. That's pretty
Right.
obvious. And you have to figure out what is life about, right? That magic question. Why am I here? What is my purpose while I'm here? Well, it's not to be on Facebook and TikTok doing
Right.
dance videos and weighing 300 pounds with multiple health conditions telling me to wear 3 masks. Hate to break it to you. That's not living. And I think a lot of people today, when they take that last breath, there's going to be a lot of regrets. And I'm one of those people that when I take that last breath, I'm going to be like, I'm ready. What's the next journey if there is one?
Right.
I hope it's a nice place. I hope I did well enough that I earned my way there.
Right.
But people today, they just don't think of that. It's instant gratification. Me. What can I get now? What can I do to get my instant gratification right now? And no one's forward thinking. You have to look forward and go, okay, if I'm going to be here, and I'm going to live on this planet, what am I going to do to make it better? To live a life of, I guess a best way would be a life of something that you can be proud of is the best way to put it, right? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with us. Humans are an interesting organism. We love to just impart as much misery on each other for absolutely no reason
Yeah.
as we absolutely can. And I just don't get it. I really do not get it. We're lucky. We're very lucky, especially in this country. And the place we're at right now where people are talking, of the collective and people, what I love too is people don't even understand the definition of terms. It's sacrifice the many for the few. That's what collectivism means. It means putting everyone else ahead of yourself. Well, think of it. Again, use this thing called critical thinking again. If everyone is sacrificing their life for the collective, never reaching their potential, never getting their act together, that means the collective is a shitbag.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just by common critical thinking, if all I do is sacrifice my life for others, I never get my life in order, that means the whole collective is out of order.
Yeah.
No one has reached their potential. No one is getting their act together. And no one understands that. Everyone's just like, well, no, you need to sacrifice for me. And it's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Tell me where it's written that I need to sacrifice to make your life better.
Yep.
Help me out with this one. And I can voluntarily, help you, which is what I firmly believe humankind is about is helping others, but you can't force me to do it. It's, like the whole mask issue, which has become political, which is absolutely asinine. So now people are afraid not to wear a mask because then they think you're a Trumper and you're an anti-vaxxer and you're an anti-masker.
Yep.
No, maybe I've already had COVID. Maybe I don't want to get an immunization. Maybe I don't
fuck
want
you.
to.
Maybe just fuck you.
Fuck you. Yeah. And I think this has been kind of a weird storm of the erosion of our rights in a very quick timeline. I have been preparing my life and everything I teach and do for something like this. I could see it. I worked in the government. Like I said, if Fauci was in the government when I was around, I probably walked the halls and passed that doofus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These people were all around when I was in. I protected some of them. Mm-hmm. So to think that things are, I just could see it. These people around, I could see the pattern of where we were going. I just didn't expect it to accelerate this quickly.
Right.
But what we do about it, because I always get asked, well, what do we do about it? Three-legged stool, man. I didn't create that out of thin air. I didn't make that up to sell you some, self-help gyroscope or something.
Right.
What it is I've learned over 5 decades of life now that those 3 things are the 3 things that we've lost control over. We've lost control of our health. We are all financially 1-2 paychecks away from complete financial ruin. We lack a life purpose. What I've found is those 3 things, if you focus on getting those 3 things back and you take control of them, it's pretty hard for any outside entity to take control over you. Big business, big government, big pharma. It's you are now back in control. Once you are back in control, it changes the playing field, right? Because if you're healthy, financially free, and you know your life purpose and you're out helping people, how can they tell you to go put on a mask? You just go fuck off. No, we're all healthy. We don't need to wear a mask. You know what I mean? That's where we're at. And people with because I get asked about the immunizations and masks all the time. And I go, the problem is we've started this dark road because we are so unhealthy as a nation. And I talk about health a lot. I used to run a health company. It's something I'm pretty passionate about, have a degree in exercise science, that we are getting unhealthier. So if you think this is going to get better, it's not. You're just feeding the fire right now. Yeah. If you're one of the 80%, 70, 80% in this country that's overweight or obese, you're part of the problem. You're 100% of the problem. And don't call me a fat shamer. Don't call me insensitive. You're the one killing yourself with a fork and knife, not me. I'm not doing it to you. This is 100% voluntary. It is on you. You are to blame. So don't make me sacrifice my life, my health, and my freedoms because you can't stop stuffing that pie hole. Not my problem. And people get really aggravated with that. But I go, health is one of the easiest things to fix.
Yeah.
And they go, well, it's so complicated, this and that. And I go, okay, human being, what would you be exposed to as a hunter-gatherer? That's what you're intended to eat. And they go, wait, what do you mean? And
crazy
animal
concept.
flesh. We hunted animals. We eat animal flesh. We would gather. We would go out, nuts, seeds, some vegetation. A lot of vegetation is highly toxic to humans for a reason. And we needed a clean water source, and our life was exercise. Hunting, gathering is a physically demanding life.
Yeah.
It is. You have to move. The human body was built to move.
Right. They weren't going down to the gym.
Yeah.
They didn't have to find time to exercise. They had to exercise to stay alive. So that wasn't as big of an issue. now we're just spoon-fed everything.
We've allowed society to dictate those terms.
Yeah.
Because now you're a victim. Now it's not your fault. And I swear to God, the pharmaceutical companies are off the rails. I worked with them. I had to deal with them. These commercials are mind numbing.
Yeah.
The fact that they're allowed to advertise is insane to me because the commercials are highly manipulative.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone that there's very good marketing put in behind them. Heck, just look at Purdue Pharma, who created the opiate epidemic.
Right.
Pretty well done. It worked really well, and it's still going 15 years later, still going. Purdue still around.
Yep.
And with that, that's, I mean, am I anti-vaxxer? Am I against pharmaceutical drugs? Nope. I'm for them when you need them. And guess what? If you're healthy and you exercise, you very rarely need them. Imagine that. Pretty simple.
Right. Now with this, like, I know that some people are going to hear this and be like, oh, this is just the next generation of old men screaming at a cloud and saying, oh, the kids today don't get it. And do you think that there's, how do I put this? Well, like I'm technically a millennial, even though I didn't fall into most of the tropes, but my generation was like slandered by, maybe that's a harsh term, but my generation was like mocked by the generation before for being too lazy, whatever, some of the stuff that you're talking about, and rightly so. But the whole participation trophies and everything like that, it's like, you guys were the ones giving us the participation trophies, though. You guys were the ones creating this. Like, is some of the how much of the onus is on the generations before to let it get to the point and not raise their children to actually, do some of the things that you're talking about?
No, Dan, it's all your fault. Okay. No, I agree. And I've talked about that humans have learned through community and through their elders, right? Elders would pass down the information that they had learned and the lessons they had learned through life. That's how it worked. The elders were in most times smarter and because they had more experience. They had made the mistakes already. They had figured things out. Well, what's happening is each generation is learning less and less of those lessons. And I agree. Hey, I'm old enough to be your dad, Dan. I should be to blame because you learned these things from my generation.
Sure.
My generation is your parents. So we did this. It's on us as well. And it's weird that my generation blames millennials, and I'm the same as you. I'm all, oh, those are your kids.
Right.
I'm all, what happened? Were you not paying attention? And then they'll go, well, it's the school system. Well, it's, the universities. Well, it's this or that. And I go, I've been around involved parents of my generation and watched them raise their kids. Yeah. Their kids aren't that.
Yeah.
They were engaged. And do kids come out bad sometimes? Absolutely, no matter what you do. But that's the anomaly. That's not, if you're engaged with your kids and you're teaching them valuable lessons in life, teaching them a work ethic, how to critically think, they usually come out pretty good. They usually can figure it out. So yeah, no, I 100% agree. Our generation is a big part of the blame for sure. Mm-hmm. And my mom's generation too. I mean, they taught us some lessons, but it's been coming, and each generation just seems to get more and more lost. I have a lot of hope for Gen Z. They're very bright is what I've noticed about Gen Z, because they've been exposed to more information than any generation ever.
Sure.
Is it good information though?
Right.
We won't know until they get older how that plays out.
Right. They know all the information, but the problem is that 90% of all the information is bullshit. So, yeah,
it's
learning the good stuff. Yeah. Now, do you think that? I mean, you're a bit of a prepper. Some would say. I don't know. Maybe you don't like that term, but it is what it is. Would you say? I'm
a rational human being.
Fair.
That's what I like to say.
Now, I get into some of the conspiracy stuff and that type of thing as well, and enjoy, thoughts and thought experiments. Do you, as somebody who comes from the government, somebody who sees this stuff happening, somebody who sees the fall of Rome happening outside of our window, do you think any of this is pre-orchestrated, or any of this is like intentional, or is it just as a result of good times making lazy people?
It's a combination. To say the progressives have not been planning this. They've been playing this since the 50s and 60s.
Sure.
And I hate separating people into groups. I hate doing that. I look at people for their worth as an individual. I go, I don't care what color you are. I don't care your race, religion. I don't care. I
How
separate
dare
people
you?
into good
How
people,
very dare you
bad
not judge people by the color of their skin in 2021, Gary?
I'm just a white privileged racist according to today's society,
That's
no matter
right.
what. But yeah, I just look at people. Either you're a good person, or you're a bad person.
Yeah.
If you're a bad person, get the fuck away from me. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't care what you look like. I don't care. Just
Right.
get away. But yeah, it's a combination. This has been orchestrated. I worked in the government with people who scared the living shit out of me. I mean, they were so evil that, and the typical sociopath, right? We used to say the lights are on, but nothing's there, because you would look into their eyes and it was just darkness. And you're going, I'm dealing with a broken human being, and they're in a very powerful position.
Right.
This is not good. And like I said, unfortunately, a lot of those people are now in high leadership positions in the federal government. I'm not saying all people are bad in the government. There are a lot of people who are working the mission, working hard every day, but they're fighting the idiots. They're fighting this segment that runs. I mean, a lot of it is run by idiots, unfortunately. And that sounds harsh. I'm being honest. I was there. Most of the people in leadership roles in our government today are complete, utter buffoons. There's no better way to put it. I'm not the sharpest guy in the world, but I'm telling you, I would stand next to them and go, thank God breathing is automatic, because you would die otherwise. I kid you not. They're dense as dense gets. And with that, it's pre-orchestrated in a way. And I think that's where a lot of people are struggling with today, is the mindset of, I need to control you. I know more than you. I need to exercise power over other human beings. I don't know where that wiring gets crossed. I don't. I've talked to numerous psychologists, psychiatrists, people in all the sociological fields. No one's ever been able to give me a good answer, because I spend a lot of time trying to figure out the broken human being. Why are these people? Why do they want to exert so much control over people?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And any rational human being, they don't get it either. And what they do is they slowly start to make you think you're crazy.
Yeah.
You go, is there something wrong with me? Am I not just catching on?
Right.
And that's how I was at the end of my government career. I just don't understand this anymore. And it is. But with that, we're still in the freest country. And that's why I teach what I teach. It's my way of giving back. I can't do a political show. I can't be on Glenn Beck every day. I can't be a Fox News talking. I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make it. I can't do that. So my attitude is, how can I give back without getting myself in a bunch of trouble, and, teach things that I know work, that will allow people to find their own freedom within the system we're within today. That's the best I can do. And that's what we need to do, is we need to realize that it's we, the people, we run this ship.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is a lot of people are just widget in, widget out, what I talk about. They're just sheep following the herd. They're not thinking for themselves. And it's going to be a very rough life for those people. And if we don't change this and get on board with it, this experiment could end. I hope it doesn't. I would like to say this is new, but it's not. Anyone who studies history, it's been a shit show for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just now today it's more pronounced, because you have social media, you have 24/7 news cycle.
Right.
It's in your face now. I mean, we used to have duels, for God's sakes. Politicians would go out in a field and shoot each other.
We need to get back to that, honestly. I mean, in a duel, no matter who wins, we all win by at least 50%, because one of them has to go. If two politicians are facing off, one of them's got to die.
Yeah, those firearms were highly inaccurate. So
that's fair.
Not very many people actually shot each other. But still, you think about that. If you had a dispute, you go, Dan, I don't like you. Let's go out front. We're going to shoot at each other right now. That's crazy. If you think in today's terms, that's nuts. But let's put this in perspective. What's going on in Chicago? what's going on in New York, what's going on in Maryland, what's going on in LA. That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
People are killing each other in the streets. And it is incredibly violent. I don't know how we got here. I don't know how I wish I had all the magic answers. I don't. If I could figure out humans, I would be a billionaire tomorrow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like I said, we're a goofy organism. I don't know what's wrong with us. But I think part of the answer is critical thinking and just be nicer. I can be a dick, but you have to earn Gary's dickiness. You have to do something pretty provocative out of me to get dickhead Gary. But once you get it,
Right.
you get it.
And you had it coming. You were warned. So
Yeah. Everyone who knows me, that's another thing is they always say, you are who you are. And I go,
Right.
why would I not be?
right.
And that's another thing is you have a lot of people.
That's a thing in our society now, that it's commendable for you to be a real human, for you to be the same in public as you are behind the scenes. Like this weird disconnect in our society where that is not the norm, and it's surprising to people when you are. That is frightening.
Yeah, everyone thinks they need to have a persona, right?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they need to have this alternative character that they use in public, but behind the scenes, they're totally different. Well, that's a psychopath.
Yeah.
You do not want to go that road. And I think people need to understand too, is you need to find yourself. Who are you? What are you intended to do? And to be a better person. I'm telling you right now, I've been in that negative loop of hate and discontent. It's a lot of work. It's a ton of work. It's so much easier just being nice and trying to live your life the best way you can. It's so much easier. It is way easier. It's less toxic. But I think a lot of people today are just, they love to get on social media. They love to just talk shit. And I think it's probably because, too, a lot of that action doesn't have consequences anymore.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I tell this story all the time. We had disputes when I was growing up all the time. I grew up in a little town. We all knew each other. It was not uncommon for two best friends to face off in the schoolyard and go, after school, I'm kicking your ass. We're going.
Yeah.
And what would happen is we would go after school. We had a couple places we would fight at. One was the park. One was the green building, which was an old railroad building. They took that down, but usually the park or just right out in front of the quad high school. The teachers would come out and watch and make sure that it didn't get out of hand. No one ever brought a knife. No one ever brought a gun. Matter of fact, one kid who moved into town, he came in and he brought brass knuckles to the fight. We pulled him aside, took his brass knuckles and said, dude, really?
Right.
And he got his ass kicked. He got his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
And no one ever let it go too far. We broke it up as soon as someone got bloodied. Someone looked like they were in trouble. It was a modern, I guess, or a prehistoric MMA battle.
Right.
And that's the thing, though. When you went down the hall and you went up to someone and went, hey, fuck you, jackass. Well, you probably get punched. Now you can go online and do that all day long. Heck, I think you could do it in school today. And if you punch someone, you're going to jail.
Right. And you don't have to take ownership for it.
advocating-
You don't have to even have your name on it. They don't have to know who said it. You can just get away with, slander and criticizing everybody without taking ownership for anything any of your opinions.
Well, and I'm not advocating violence. Trust me.
Sure.
I've been in enough fights. They hurt. They're painful. I would rather not do it. But I'm also not afraid of it.
Yeah.
If it comes to that, fine. But that's what it does, is it keeps a check and balance.
Yeah.
It keeps people within line that you just can't act the fool and get away with it. Today, there's a lot of people acting the fool and getting away with it. It sucks. I mean, but I don't want people to get down. We're still in a great place. We're still in the freest country in the world, the richest by far. Everyone in this country has the potential to be a millionaire making $15 an hour. I've done the math.
Yeah. Even if Biden lives long enough for a second term, do you think that you'll still be this optimistic? Do you, if this keeps going in the direction that it seems to be going, if the economy collapses and whatnot, How does your normal everyday person, how should they deal with it? I mean, not everybody can, pack up and go move to the middle of nowhere and live off the land, at least not yet. But what do you say to those people with where we're going?
That's a really good question. I don't think Biden's going to make it through the first term, let alone to a second
I'm
one.
surprised he's made it this
Honestly.
far.
Well, he's not. Cognitively, he's done.
Right.
He's toast. There's not much left, and I don't say that disparagingly. He's an older man. He's dealing with dementia. It's fairly obvious. I've seen it in my family. I know what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what he's going through. It's sad, and it's sad that his party is using him this way. It's sickening to me, to be honest with you.
Sure.
But for people today, and that's what I want to make sure that people understand, because everyone looks at me and goes, "Oh, this is a guy who basically sold all of his shit, moved out in the middle of the woods and disappeared." I did not do that. I've been running a business. I've been working. I've been doing things for the last decade plus since I left the government.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can get a hold of me. I did not disappear by any stretch. But what I'm teaching is a lifestyle. I'm teaching it to everyone. This is not specific to what I do. I tell everyone it's your life. Don't be Gary 2.0. You need to be you. You need to find your journey. All I'm doing is giving you the roadmap of the things that work. Where you want to go with it, that's up to you. And I've done all this. I don't write about, I don't teach anything that I don't do personally. This isn't some seminar that I took at some, guru's retreat and I came up with my action plan. Yeah. This is Gary's life. This is my life dissected and how I came to my journey, and I figured out the things that I felt were critical through my experiences that will help almost everyone. Not everyone. You can never help everyone. Mm-hmm. But if you apply the things I teach, cycles, it's pretty basic, right? And that's why I teach the 3-legged stool. It works. Yeah. If you want to live the best life you can, dial in that 3-legged stool. I've had thousands and thousands of people do it now. I get the emails. It's amazing to hear the results. Mm-hmm. But with that, you have to realize there's ebbs and flows to not only life, but our economy. There will be a collapse. I've lived through 3 major collapses already. Me.
Yeah.
My grandparents. My grandmother would talk to me about the Great Depression. This is nothing new, people. Pay attention. History repeats itself. So what does that mean? It means you need to get prepared. It means don't spend more than you earn. It means you need to have money put away for at least a year. Especially now, COVID knocked a lot of people out, even people who had enough saved to get that year. But that should be the minimum. Yeah. You should be able to survive for a year longer with no income. Debt-free. I'm telling you firsthand, being debt-free completely and utterly changes your life. That $15 an hour to me, I can live on that all day long.
Right.
I don't even worry about going to $15 an hour. Doing that, getting your health in order, getting that brain, unhealthy body, unhealthy brain. I've seen this firsthand. I have done it. When you don't have your health, the bad decisions you will make will get compounded. You get clarity, you get healthy, all of a sudden these decisions start getting better and better and better. And then you can find your purpose in life. What are you going to do with your time? How are you going to spend your time on this planet? What are you going to do? And that's why, I tell people it's not hopeless. You fix those things, you get those things in order. Yeah, COVID sucked.
Yeah.
It didn't change my life that much.
Yeah.
Did it piss me off? Yes. Was I able to travel and do some of the things I had planned for the last year and a half? No. But comparably to what most people were going through, I was ready for it. And I'm not doing this to rub salt in the wound. I'm telling you this shit works. Yeah. Living a simpler life, figuring out what's important. Is that third set of golf clubs going to change your life? Buying that BMW you cannot afford and get you to work the same way as that, half third cost Toyota.
Right.
You know what I mean? Use your brain.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Does it matter that your neighbor really thinks you're cool because you drive a Lexus that you can't afford? That's stupid. And yet people do it every single day. We're so worried about impressing other dumb humans that we ruin our lives in the process. I don't care. I tell people the way I live and what I do is based upon practicality. It's not being cheap. I like nice things, but I like to buy things once, and I like to buy quality, and I like to be comfortable. I don't own a suit.
Yeah.
People are amazed by that. They go, "You don't have a tie? You don't have a dress shirt?" I don't need one. Why would I own one?
Right. I don't want to wear one.
What's the point?
And I don't have to wear one.
I don't want to wear one. I wore one for decades. Yeah. Why would I do that? I'm in hiking pants and a $7 t-shirt. I think I paid $5 for this hat. Works all the same as the stuff that costs 5 times as much.
Covers your balls. That's all that matters.
Yeah, the pants are expensive, but they're really good.
Yeah.
And they'll last me a long time, and they're comfortable. And with that, think of things like that. What are the things you need, not the things you want?
Right.
There's a big difference. Huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, and you talk about COVID of last year and everything. I know that some people had it rough, but the people who were working on finding their drive and their passion and were getting their life in order to begin with, they're the ones who were fine. Like I'm not, my business is booming at the moment. It wasn't bad before, but I've actually increased my business over the last year. I dropped 60 pounds last year. I didn't even know you at the time, but everything you just talked about, I did all those things last year. And I just want to touch on that because just the mental clarity that I've had and the productivity that I've had. I didn't diet. I didn't exercise. I just ate whenever. I only ate when I was hungry and stayed busy doing work. And just the amount of success that has come out of that just over the last 6 months or so has been amazing. And I can't put credit on you for that, but I figured out the same ideas that you're preaching, and now I'm gonna go read your book and see how I can do it better.
Well, and that's the thing. People need to understand too is I did all this on my own.
Right.
I'm not patting myself on the shoulder. The Simple Life and everything I created, I own my books.
Sure.
No, there's no publishers. My podcast, there's no advertisers. I do this truly to give back, and I do it my way without any interference of anyone on the outside. And it kills my bottom line. If I wanted to make a hell of a lot more money, I would do this very, very differently.
Yeah.
I don't. I control the information, and I tell people, if you don't like it, go away.
Right.
I don't care. You're not going to hurt my feelings. If you're here to chase butterflies, pet puppy dogs and ride unicorns, I am not for you.
Right.
I am a guy who lives in reality. I'm here to teach you. I'm not here to yell at you, but people need guidance. And I've always said, if I'm digging a ditch of stupidity, please take the shovel out of my hand and slap me. Please don't let me keep digging. And most people today say, no, I'm going to keep digging and it's your fault. And it's like, what? And I think if we can get to that state of mind, and you bring up a really good point, because I've met a lot of people during COVID who changed their lives. They said, hey, things are slowing down. I get to work at home. I'm going to take this as an opportunity. Those people came out way ahead. I was already, I always work on my health. I didn't gain any weight. Matter of fact, I got in better shape a little bit. But my life's very constant, the ebbs and flows of good and bad. My life kind of does, it's like this.
Yeah.
And that's how I like it. And not to say it's perfect. It's not perfect. There's always a struggle, and I'm always trying to better myself. But what happened, and I've talked about this, and I get really upset with Americans because being in the health field and for a long time, and people always their excuses, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, right?
Yeah.
That's their first thing. First of all, as you know, getting healthy is cheaper than being unhealthy.
Right.
Flat out. That is complete, utter bullshit if there was ever bullshit sold, period. It is far cheaper to be healthy. Trust me on this one. I've done the math. It's in the books.
Right.
And
less food costs less than more food. It's as simple as that.
Yes. Less hospital visits, less doctor visits, less nagging injuries, time from work, more productive. The biggest thing is your productivity. Yeah. You get healthy and your productivity shoots straight up.
Yep.
I know this firsthand. And so what happened, and I got so upset, is what did Americans do? They got fatter. They got lazier and fatter. And I don't say this as some pie in the sky or some bombastic to say something, controversial. It's a fact. The average COVIDer, person who went from working in the office, staying home every day, gained 30 pounds.
Right.
What the fuck? What is going on with you? So you bitch and complain that society and the man have you down, right? Then you get an opportunity to stay home, get paid. Most people made more money than they did before, it appears. I didn't get loans. I'm not eligible for loans. I don't get unemployment. I got shit. I had to figure it out. I had to make sure I had a plan and I could do and survive.
Yeah.
I didn't get that safety valve. And what they did is they went home, they bought a bunch of booze. The fast food lines were out of this world in the places I live. Every day I drive by and the fast food lines were around the block.
You've got all
COVID.
day to make meals. You can prepare whatever you want. You don't have to put it in a little brown bag or a cooler and take it to work. You're working from home and you still can't figure out some sort of portion control, or at least eating things that aren't, fast food.
Well, yeah. And there's points where I just throw up my hands and go, we are our own worst enemy. We truly are. And for those people, when they listen to me, if they get all bent out of shape, I go, good.
Yeah.
Because not enough people are telling you to stop and pull your head out of your ass. I wouldn't be here today if people didn't do that to me. I didn't get here because I'm some life clairvoyant and I'm some genius. I'm a dumb shit redneck from the middle of nowhere. I had people slap me upside the head and tell me, Gary, you're fucking up fast and you're picking up speed. Stop it.
Yeah.
That's what helped me. People telling me you're being a jackass. Stop.
Yeah.
And today we got people who are afraid to do that. Well, I'm not. And people are learning that. If I call you out, I'm calling you out for a reason, and I'm doing it for your benefit. I'm not doing it to look cool. I'm not doing it to be mean. It's just people are unwilling to speak the truth today.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I go, love me or hate me. What you get's what you get. There's no agenda. There's nothing where I'm doing this for some act or to get rich. I live a good life. I live off far less than that most Americans.
Yeah.
But I live the life I want. The life I want. That's the key. I don't hurt anyone. My life doesn't impede on anyone else's freedoms. My life is not a drag on society. It's a net benefit, net gain, and that's how I live.
Right.
Pretty simple. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and that is important. I've been having a conversation with my son. He wants to grow up and be a celebrity, and I'm like, stop what you're doing. Stop thinking this way. Like, what can you contribute to other people that can make them like you? Or like, you shouldn't be seeking other people's approval in the first place, but what can you do that can add value to other people's lives? Like, that's the only way that you can be a celebrity, quote unquote, if that is even a thing, without completely selling your soul. Otherwise, you're going to be like one of these YouTubers who probably go home and cry themselves to sleep at night because they didn't get 5 million. They only got 4 million views on their video this time. I don't know. To your point on just being honest, it's interesting that we live in this time where tough love isn't a thing anymore. Like, there's only I'm offended or I'm happy. Like, there's only two options, and it's like the only difference between tough love and being a dick is honesty. And if you're being honest for the other person's benefit, if you're adding value to their life in doing so, then that might be the way to go. That might be exactly what they need in order to, come out of a funk that they're in.
And it's interesting you say that. We're imperfect. Humans tell white lies all the time, and our memory's imperfect. It's been proven. I was an investigator. Getting testimony back from someone who thinks they saw something a certain way usually is not how it happened, and they're not lying on purpose. It's just our brain is imperfect. And with that, what I learned from being in the government, being around a lot of sociopaths, as bosses and people I worked with. But not only that, but dealing with criminals. So I had this kind of split, right? This dichotomy of one group is considered good, one group is considered bad. But I noticed there was a similar thought process on how they looked at things and how they looked at people and information. And what I noticed is both groups were very unhappy. And especially the criminal side, they had the ability to make more money, most of them, than your government employee. Don't get me wrong. Our politicians have dialed in getting rich on politics. But criminals have an unlimited resource. They can just go balls deep and make as much money as they want, right? They play by a little looser set of rules. But what I noticed with them is they were very unhappy, a lot of them. And because I would do search warrants on there, I'd get their hard drives, I'd read all their emails. That was part of the investigation. Have to go through all the emails. And I got, what it did is it gave me this psychological profile of the average criminal and what they're doing and how they think. It's a miserable life. First of all, they were terribly dishonest. That was the first thing I noticed. Just like a politician, same thing. They lied about everything. And they lied to their family. They lied to their friends. They lied. It didn't matter. They always lied. And it was fascinating. You would sit them down in an interview and they just start lying to you. And I'd go, stop. I have everything right in front of me.
Right.
You can't bullshit me. I have it. You're done. It's over. Stop lying. And they would sit there and the wheels would turn. They didn't know what to do because they didn't know how not to lie. And for people to understand that we've always heard this, right? Honesty is the best rule. It is, and I learned, hey man, I took punishment like no one's punishment by being honest.
Yeah.
If I fucked up, I go, I fucked up. And I would sit there and just get beat down.
Yeah.
But a lie compounds that, and you're going to pay the price eventually. Those lies are going to add up. It's going to come back to haunt you at some point. And my attitude is I just rather not live my life looking over my shoulder.
Right.
Plain and simple. I sleep great every night. I don't worry about anything. I do here and there. But, overall, my stress level is far less than the average American because I just live a life of honesty, integrity, try to do the right thing and be the best person I can. It sounds hokey. It sounds really cheesy, but I'm being dead serious. That's all I do.
Yeah, it sounds hokey and cheesy because people have been saying it for generations and generations, and it sounds like an old throwaway statement, but there's a reason why people have been saying it for generations and generations, because it tends to make life better, almost like it was designed to be that way, where you can live in freedom and not live in fear of people finding out who you really are.
Well, and I've been there, and that's why I tell people there's nothing worse than worrying about being in debt, worried about, do people like me? Right. I'm out of stage, and I've been at this stage for quite a while in my life. I don't give a shit if you like me or not. I don't care. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean I project this evilness or negativity. It's just I don't care. I'm living the life true to myself. I'm doing the best I can. And if you can't get on with that, then fine. Move on. I don't care. And I think that's a big part of it today, too, is you need to just stop caring what people think of you. Who cares? Just because you've decided that you're going to wear the same pair of jeans for 3 days in a row, so what? Yeah. I mean, people will literally criticize someone for their fashion and go, "Oh, did you see Marjorie? She wore that skirt yesterday. Oh my God." And you just sit here and go, what are we doing, people? What are we doing? And we get wrapped around things that really don't matter. What matters is, primarily living the life you want, getting your shit together, don't be a burden to your community, be an asset, and live and love your family. I mean, honestly, that's what it's about. And if you think that's bullshit and I just sold you something, man, this life is gonna be brutal.
Right.
Because you are so far outside of what's important. And it took me a while to figure that out. Hey, and family's not perfect either. Hey, don't love your family just because of your family.
Yeah.
You got shitbirds in your family too. And I've divorced a good portion of my family. Yeah. And it's hard. and friends. There's friends I've had forever that finally one day I went, you know what, man, you're just not a good guy anymore.
Yeah.
Time for me to go. And that's being free too, right? Being able to choose who you communicate, who you hang out with.
Yep.
And today it's no. You will deal with Johnny. And it's like, why do I need to deal with Johnny? I don't like Johnny. Johnny doesn't like me. And we're in that weird kind of world too, to where we're being forced into relationships and things that are toxic, and people stay in them because they think they're supposed to.
Right.
And it's not cut bait just because you want to and not taking on responsibility. But it's like I talk about where I live and the towns where I live and what I choose. I choose communities that reflect what I believe in and where I'm comfortable. Mm-hmm. And people go, well, that sounds kind of racist and isolated. No, that's being a human.
Yeah.
Why could you imagine being in a tribe as hunter-gatherers and you would go to your enemy tribe who absolutely hates you and go, hey, I'm here. Hello. Let's party. They'd lop off your head and dump you down in the gully. It's one of those, you have to figure out where you fit in and what's your group. Who is your group, right? There's almost 8 billion of us. There's someone for everyone. Long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as you're not infringing on their freedoms, who cares?
Yeah, absolutely.
Those old 10 commandments, right? I'm not a religious guy. Mm-hmm. I'm a very spiritual and guy who believes in doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Those 10 commandments, those were pretty well thought out. I mean, they're pretty, just look at those. Those will kind of give you a basis. A baseline of good behavior. I'm not saying it's perfect.
Just pretend Tony Robbins wrote the 10 Commandments, and then you'll be more willing to read them, because then it's self-help. It's not rules.
And put fuck in every other word. And
that's
then,
right.
Yeah, you'll have Tony Robbins.
Absolutely. Well, Gary, I think that's a pretty good place to wrap up. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to give for maybe the people out there who are turning down $50 applications at McDonald's where they are offering to pay you $50 to come in and apply? Do you have any words for the people who are, going on Twitter saying we're not making enough doing nothing, spitting in burgers, we're not making enough to feed a family of 20? Any final thoughts on those people?
You may have listened to my latest podcast episode on, go check it out. It's called Entitlement Nation. I want my free shit.
Yep.
Here's the thing, people. You are entitled to nothing. You really aren't. And to think that you're above working those jobs, you're talking to a guy who dug ditches, picked up shit, built fences, washed dishes, worked in warehouses, waited tables, cleaned toilets, was in the military. Mm-hmm. I've done it all. Trust me, I've done every crappy job known to man. And what it did is it built character. That's what it did. I earned a living, it built character, and it built my work ethic. I wouldn't have my work ethic today without that. Everyone has to start somewhere. You don't get to go to the front of the line because you think you deserve to go to the front of the line. Mm-hmm. You're going to actually harm yourself with this attitude of, I'm not going to perform these jobs. I can make more money at home. You know what the smart people who are going to be kicking your ass in the next couple of years are doing? They're taking their pay cut, they're getting off the couch, and they're working right now. Because guess what? They're going to be your boss when you finally get off that couch. And if you're lucky enough to get hired, because I'll tell you right now, I won't hire your ass. If I find out you sat and you sucked up all the free money and you waited till it ran out to go get a job, fuck you. I will never hire you, ever, period. I don't give a shit what your skills are. You're a deadbeat. No. But those people who realize that, hey, well, all these deadbeats are at home, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go kick some ass. Yeah, I can make 40 grand a year sitting at home. I'm going to go make 30 grand, but that 30 grand's going to be 60 grand the next year.
Right.
While you're struggling to go find a job, and you've actually pushed yourself out of the market because all these companies have learned how to adapt without you. because untalented, unskilled labor is a dime a dozen. You need to make yourself valuable. The only way you make yourself valuable is you get off your ass and you go out there and start working and start learning. If you're not doing that, the world's going to pass you by, and you can wish for universal income all you want. A guy like me is going to make sure I don't pay for it. To be honest with you, I'll do anything I can to make sure you don't get any of my money. Harsh.
There's that tough love, Gary. That's why some people gravitate to you and some people run kicking and, well, they roll their wheelchairs, their electronic wheelchairs, kicking and screaming away. But Gary, thanks so much for being here. Tell everybody where they can find out all the information on you, all your books, your products, and everything you got going on, man.
Yeah, the simpelifenow.com is where everything I do is hosted at. All my books are sold there, digital, print. I run my own print. Everything's made in the USA by these crazy things called Americans. I know it's a wild concept these days that I do that. So I support my country and employ Americans. That's what I do. So go there. Everything's there. Podcast, everything that you could think of is at the website. So please support me and what I do. It helps me keep things ad-free, helps me be able to write more books with unfiltered is the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Absolutely. And I've been checking out the show, and I've been peeking into some stuff you got going on, and I really enjoy it. So keep up the great work, man, and thanks for being here. We'll talk to you next time. And to all of you.
Appreciate it, Dan.
Oh, you're welcome. And apparently we have a delay, so we'll just keep interrupting each other through some bonus after this. But go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/thesystemisdown, and you'll get the bonus episodes every single week that we do of the show. Also, like, share, and subscribe on all the stupid things that millennials do. And we are still currently on YouTube. Who knows if this will be or what? I don't know. They don't let me keep up much of anything anymore. But yeah, go follow on Odyssey, because that's where the real fun happens, and every single episode is there. Or follow at tsidpod.com. But thank you all for tuning in, and tune in next time for whatever I do then. Until then, question everything, stay uncomfortable, and we'll talk to you then. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe on your way out and help us change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. And if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/thesystemsdown for bonus episodes of the show every single week. Until next time, please continue to question everything, stay uncomfortable, and I'll talk to you then. Thanks.
This has been a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.